Welcome back, folks, to the 2015 WCS qualifiers for Europe. This is the second game in a best-of-3 qualifier match. This is really important because somebody's going to have to go try again next week for the last couple slots available. But the top 4 from today get through, and this is the last slot available. So spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, it's going to be the Red Terran Happy.
In the upper left, as the purple Protoss, it's Naniwa.
So I don't know if Naniwa took advantage of the fact that, I mean, if I know that Happy likes to play Ghost Viking, obviously Naniwa does. If I know that Widow Mines aren't really Happy's thing to do, I'm sure Naniwa does as well. So I'm not sure if he took advantage of that, or if that was a happy coincidence of the way that game played out. But one thing's for certain, Zealots en masse, when there's 30 plus, are not fun to deal with for any Terran player.
Happy coincidence. Yeah.
Oh, nailed it.
Yeah. It just, you know, every single fight he took seemed to be missing something. But towards the end, I thought he had everything. Okay, maybe he was down by like 10 army supply during some of those later fights, but he had ghosts. He set us up a little bit. The Vikings were taking the Colossus, and then he still lost. So that's why I was like, I don't even know what to do. I don't know if Happy is thinking like, oh, I just did this wrong and I'll totally fix it the next game. He might. Or he might be thinking, man, I should have ended it in the mid game, man. I got that Nexus, I should just kept on piling up the pressure.
I'm thinking for this game round, like, it's Nimbus. Happy has got the quote-unquote unfavorable spawn locations, being south to Naniwa. It's not cross spawns. But if he does decide to play the same game again, I mean, there's a couple things where his strategy, I don't think, like, his composition isn't what straight up killed him. Like, some mistakes were made with the attacks, but some good moves were made that we didn't really emphasize enough. Like, sniping off that Nexus in the main was fantastic. Killed a lot of stalkers for it, and even got the Medevacs out alive. There's a lot of things that Happy did both good and bad that game. But what I think was the pivotal point for most of it was Naniwa kept his calm. Like, he never freaked out, he never overreacted, he never underreacted. He was always exactly where he needed to be, up to the point where it was deathball versus deathball, and no more drops were happening.
Yeah, that's very true. Patience for patience, I suppose, but Naniwa just did it a little bit better. I'll see what Happy is going to do. I really did like his position after that Nexus snipe. I was like, all right, this is kind of what I expected. He took a good start when he just, simply denied Naniwa and he pressured the Blink Stalkers, and then it all went to hell with that one attack in the Hallway of Death. I think we forgot to mention that is infamous.
We did not reprise how devastating that right side of Overgrowth can be.
Yeah, it seems to be that whenever someone takes that, usually in TVZ, but takes an engagement over there, something about the lack of micro, because you are so choked in, always seems to not favor the Terran.
Well, I see a lot of people commenting on the viewership for this qualifier. I'm really happy to have you all joining us, but keep in mind, this actually isn't even the highest we've had for the qualifiers. I think our first qualifier had a little bit more, with Livy B joining us on that cast. But all of the WCS qualifiers have been a lot of fun. We've had amazing amounts of people tuning in. Even the WCS America qualifiers were a ton of fun. If you guys missed it last night, Polt Kane was a seriously insane match. The reaction of Kane winning was even better. We've had a lot of upsets throughout most of the brackets, but I think the thing that strikes me strongest is not the players that got through, but the players that still haven't qualified to this point. I think someone even on Team Liquid compiled a list of like notable players for each region that hasn't gotten through, and it's still, with 4 qualifiers to go, gets a little bit scary with folks like the Muslim and Snoot and others still trying to get through. It's gonna be really scary too, because one of these two are gonna join that list of names of people who should go through but haven't, because both Happy and Naniwa, especially Naniwa after that first game, looking to be in fantastic shape for 2015.
Yes. I'm going to be so surprised to see what that list looks like after all of the qualifiers are done.
Yeah, like which one big name didn't make it type thing, right?
Yeah, if Paul doesn't make it, I think I don't even know.
It's that top seed, man. I'm telling you, Snoot gets seeded in the top half of the bracket every time. So does Polt, and if you qualified, they're out.
Who hasn't qualified? I'm just saying, Illuminati.
I'm not saying it's a curse, but it's a curse. You know. But they're the immortals. Let's talk about these for a second, huh? This is this is really interesting to me, because I think this is if you're banking on Happy playing super defensive, put that one bunker up and hope that carries you through the end of the game. An Immortal Bus is probably the smartest thing Naniwa could do. Yeah,
you just don't expect the Immortal Bus anymore. Maybe there was a time in Wings of Liberty, I guess, where Immortal Bus were, or Sentry Bus or any matter of Bus versus Terran was common, but really when it comes to busts, you only have basically the 2 base Colossal in nowadays. 7 Gateway all-in's not very common. Immortal Bust is still pretty rare. It's other things that happen, but the Immortal Busts can be very strong and sometimes hard to scout. if you don't see the Immortal, you just see the Robo, you assume there's a robotic space somewhere else that you just didn't see.
Yeah. I mean, again, being said, though, Happy's not taking one bunker defense. He's actually pulled this back a little bit, so he might have a better idea of what's coming up. I mean, he's not seen anything to indicate, other than a couple of extra sentries early on.
Maybe, yeah, maybe the sentries. That seems so, like, you know, really...
2 sentries is really out of the ordinary to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you saw maybe the third one too. That would tell you something. So now it confirms. Love that SCV going out there because you gotta also know when you want to pull the SCVs.
You gotta pre-pull them. He's gotta pull them like right now. He's gonna take some time shooting down the rocks, but even with 2 extra bunkers coming down, everything here is meant to kill bunkers. So it doesn't necessarily mean it'll go well. The SCV pull is really late, and they're not in front of the 8 bunkers. So Forces in the back are gonna keep Happy from preparing this one as well.
It's not really off the back of a lot of gateways, so the production, like the Zealot influx is not that big. Maybe he'll survive. He has so many Marines, not Marauders. They're not dying. They're dealing okay DPS, basically.
And just pulled to the ramp. This is actually the smartest choice you can make right now.
Yeah, you know, a couple of Zealots
so
would be so useful here.
Nice snipe.
He's still pushing. Why not? The Immortals are still going strong. Well, not that one.
7 health is going to get away. 7 looks like a 1. It might as well be.
Yeah. Oh, he's still gonna continue the attack. Despite only being on 3 gateways, seems like perfect production. And these 2 Immortals, one of them is so close to going down. That would help out so much.
Yeah, shield's regenerating slowly behind this. I mean, Happy does have Stim now, so I think that's gonna be his ticket to go. But with Force Fields possibly cutting off his army, he doesn't want to move down this ramp.
Yeah, he's trying so hard to like snipe one and get out before anything happens. Bunker.
So abusive. Really well positioned by Naniwa, but Happy is starting to finally push his back, and he's got Widow Mines. Hallelujah, Widow Mines! There's no detection. If he just plants these Widow Mines on the ramp, he'll probably hold for the rest of the game.
Mine! Come on! Or not Widow Mine, Immortal. How are you not dead yet?
But is Naniwa going to be the guy, the first guy ever to hallucinate? No, he's just going to turn around and go back home.
Oh. Yeah, why not? He killed so many SCVs. I think he realized he's done the damage he needs. So, okay, yeah, he didn't have the gases, but he slaps those down. Forge as well can go up to Robotics Bay. He decides to go to Colossus.
Well, Happy did lose quite a few SCVs while this goes on. 30 in total. I mean, that's a rough number to have to hit. But he doesn't have a 3rd CC. There's no extra mules. So him being prompted to push like this kind of makes some sense. The scary thing, though, is he really doesn't know if there's like a Colossus waiting for him on the back end of this. If something's up that ramp that's going to kill him. The Widow Mines are pretty darn fantastic for what's here. And Naniwa is only just getting observers out. Still no detection. He's actually supply blocked on getting that observer. If it ate a full Chrono supply block. Oops.
God, yeah, that really hurt to watch.
Double Widow Mines.
The cannon. The cannon's at the main.
Still gonna be hard to get up this ramp, but catches the sentries off guard. Gets on top of this immediately. Focuses the Zealot. Maybe should have gone for the sentries. The force field does go down, but there's a medevac here to get these Marines out if this gets too hairy. But it's not getting too hairy. Meanwhile, looks like the natural base has been staved off. Widow Mine's not going down over there. But yeah, 1 cannon for defense might oddly be just enough.
Well, that was a little bit of weird mismicro there.
Widow Mine's the natural 2 burrow. Happy's gonna unburrow. Oh! Okay. Still gets an okay shot. 4 kills go down.
It was okay, but I thought it was going to be a lot worse. God.
You should probably just pick up and get out of there with, at least one of them.
I don't know if Naniwa had necessarily lose those sentries. Probably could have, microed around and saved them and the probes, but he survives. Sentries weren't going to be too useful now that Medevac's route drops are going to be, obviously, more on point. A Dark Shrine follows this up. Now, this might have been his plan from the beginning, but it might have been just because of how much damage he took there.
Okay, well, with the Dark Shrine, yeah. I don't know, this isn't, I don't even feel like this is that much of like a win behind Dark Shrine scenario, but, I mean, forcing a Terran player to scan is never a bad idea.
No. Okay, just looking at the game now, I guess since everything's calmed down, right? Happy's done a good job of getting back up in the SCVs, only down by 9 with 2 mules at a time. His production looking pretty good. Doesn't really have quite a big enough army to start, dropping everywhere and multi-pronged attacks. And without a 3rd base, just 1 force field will cut off Naniwa's main from him.
I like this War Prism. Again, whether it's for the Dark Templar, whether it's just the Zealot. I mean, War Prisms are the best way to make a Terran player come back home. There's nothing better in this game than forcing Terran players to stop their assault, pick up in the medevacs, and turn all the way back home.
Yeah, it will be very useful when he sees. I guess an observer's not out here to see it. So if he sees this, for instance, that might prompt him to go into the War Prism. Force field it off. Maybe he'll drop on top, but there seems to be too many units to do that.
Nice force field. You can take it on the rocks. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think the force field's only going to buy you so much time one way or another. But the War Prism could buy you a lot of time. There is a drop in the natural. No, get the Widow Mine. Holy.
Oh, over here on the right side, yeah.
But
that opens the door with
so
the army
scary.
being out of position. He's just going to stim for the main. Sees a couple of stalkers. He doesn't realize there's Dark Templar yet. You'll hear the spikes.
The Colossus.
Maybe.
But he lost out so much more. Nope, that's actually
No
it.
extended
The
thermal
Colossus
lance.
goes
It has to fight in range of the Marauders. He picks up to back away. He'll actually come back on top of this War Prism, so this retreat might work out better for Happy than he realizes. Got some decent damage with that attack, but here we go towards the natural base.
Oh, he's got to kill a lot of SCVs. A lot of SCVs. There is a scan ready. There he goes, and I just feel very... I didn't feel so great for Naniwa after that that attack with losing all the sentries and whatnot, but now I really don't feel good with him. And, man, it's too bad he didn't have just like 2 more force fields. I guess if those sentries had lived, there would have been 3 force fields to completely block off the ramp, even with the rocks down, but...
Yo, Happy, he got 3rd behind this. His upgrades are finally starting to get out. I mean... Naniwa is stuck at this 2-base, like, borderline all-in. Like, not quite there yet, but his minerals are going to be getting low, and he's not going to be able to keep up with Happy's production once Happy is both muled and saturated on this base.
I really thought he had an opportunity to macro out of that Immortal bust, but just wasn't the perfect follow-up. And, of course, Happy's doing a great job making sure that that lead doesn't escape him. So hopefully we'll see more drops. More pressure, not allow Naniwa to have a 3rd base at all. Actually finds a Warp Prism too. Oh, that could be such a... If anything brings you back in a game, it's usually a Warp Prism.
Yeah, taking that down is going to make Happy feel really good about his position. Scans ahead and saw such a small army supply. Oh man, that's the trigger to go if I've ever seen one. When you scan and realize, oh, there's actually nothing waiting for me but one Colossus barely. No extended thermal lance. He's fighting arrangement. Stims and focus fires immediately. There's a Dark Templar. We'll see if that's enough. The Zealots are going to try and chase this back, but big drop in the natural. Takes out the cannon. Nothing left to defend. Stalker's coming back, but this means Happy goes back towards the main. He's really stretching Naniwa thin here.
Yeah, he's gonna win on both fronts. Well, just one front. GG. So you can't blame. Can't look.
Happy or sorry,